What's up, everybody? My name is Chris Mayer. I'm here from Boston Indies to bring you the Boston Indies Talk Show and Happy Hour. This is, of course, Bit Show Episode 8. Today is July 16th. We got a great show for you tonight. Just a couple announcements to get out of the way up front. First up, I think most of you are familiar with the Slack channel. If you're not, hop on over to slack.bostongamedev.com, hang out, say hi, show what you're working on. Got a great little community we've been building up. It's kind of the semi-official home of Boston game development. You can also follow Boston Indies on Twitter, at Boston Indies. I spend probably too much time on Twitter trying to find cool stuff to retweet and talk about from the local scene. And there's a lot of cool stuff going on, so check it out. Yeah, you can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Boston Indies. And, of course, all of our old Bit Show episodes are posted on YouTube. Link to that is in the Twitch channel description. All 7 episodes finally got caught up. Very exciting. A couple announcements. First up, very big announcement. This is going to be the end of Bit Show Season 1. We didn't super plan this thing out when we got started, so I think a couple weeks off to figure things out and maybe do a little bit of planning. We got some cool stuff in the works, so I think it's going to be really good. We'll probably be back August 6th, something like that. But in the meantime, if you're hungry for more Boston game development content, on Monday, July 20th, which is in, 4 days, we're going to be running Lightning Talks. Boston Indies and Women in Games Boston are going to be running Lightning Talks. Going to be kind of our first, real Boston Indies event since February, which is weird and cool. So please come out, check that out. We have a really good speaker list. I looked at it and was genuinely in awe. We have everything from people who you have never seen speak before to CEOs of local companies talking about everything from kind of technical shader and VFX stuff to studio culture and industry culture. Going to be really, really good. And Seth Alter, former Boston Indies organizer, is going to be there. Always gives great lightning talks. Very excited for that one. July 20th, 7 p.m. BostonGameDev.com has all the info on that. Josh Galecki is going to be running another demo night on the 22nd, which is 2 days after that. Details for that also on BostonGameDev.com. And just another kind of random one that I wanted to throw in here. Somerville Art Beat is going on right now. City of Somerville does a pretty good job of kind of boosting local arts. And this is typically an outdoor art festival that happens in Davis Square. But obviously this year, not a great idea to have thousands of people running around in the streets. So instead, they're doing it all online. A lot of really cool local artists and musicians and all kinds of stuff. That's at somervilleartscouncil.org/artbeat/2020, or you can just Google it. Anyway, I think that's it from me. Let's get it started.
Let's go!
Bit Show with the Bit Show.
Hey, that's us. They're I'm waiting once more just to see myself on Twitch on that delay. There we go. Hey. It's good to be here at the season finale.
Yeah, isn't this exciting? We were not expecting, we haven't been canceled, which is, I like how, first of all, Chris sort of dropped that as though we were being canceled. And then he picked it back up again with we've been renewed. So Thank you all. We've gotten a renewal.
It's real relief. I'd like to carry this metaphor farther if we can go with this. We're a TV show thing. We're going to need, I'd like to particularly be a 90s TV show. We're going to need a sweeps week and a Shark Week and some other things like that. Some sort of Christmas episode that looks weird when you rerun it off season.
And something really super outdated and inappropriate for the 2020s, but it was completely okay in the 90s.
When our viewership starts flagging, we can bring in a spunky 7-year-old or something to shout out a catchphrase like "Unity takes too long to compile," and then we all laugh at Unity Kid.
Oh, well, let's workshop that.
Listening to Chris, I was excited about all those lightning talks, but the one he particularly dropped was Seth Alter. I always love listening to Seth Alter's lightning talks. Gets into such beautifully odd specifics in its life in general, and just brings and shares them.
Do you have a story, a quick story before we begin?
The depths of the political and historical significance he poured into that Minecraft city he was building with people. You know, he had like nameplates around. You go into the city, go into the city town hall. There's nameplates for each where the members of City Hall are supposed to sit. I mean, it's Minecraft; they're actually sitting there, but like, and then these stories about each of the factions representing, and just beautiful attention to maybe unnecessary detail, and I love that about. I mean, that's what I love, games in general. But
am I looking to? I think I'm looking to my left to see Ziba today. I was like looking away from the. Yeah. No.
Show we have to wait. There we go. Yeah.
There we go. We gotta go. Let's showboat. Let's remember anybody in this chat or in this stream can post to dev chat or dev log, and Chris will pick it up and say, "Hey, we're gonna talk about that today. Let's do it."
Yeah, let's start. Showboat. It's great. We got there was the Game Makers Toolkit Jam this week, which was really exciting to see that our community was participating in that. I mean, it's not shocking, but it's just kind of nice. Like, it got set up and some people came together. We had some teams of multiple people from the Slack working together. First off, we got the title of this one was good. This was QWERTY teaches typing. I like that. With our Ben. Wait, Ben, is that your sister you were working with? Ben plus Steph? Because I know they're both in games. That's nice. My little sister crashed a Sony dinner, and we were just bickering the whole time. She has nothing to do with games. But the Sony rep who declined me for funding earlier turned and said, "I want you two to make a game together." So
that's a story. We'll have to get some drinks and talk about that in the after show. I never heard that.
All right, next.
Yeah, you do the whole Game Maker toolkit,
right?
And then I'm going to do.
Yeah, now we've got a team of Manny, Lauren, Shell, Anna, and Alex. I know a few of those are definitely regulars in our crowd. Alex Engel. Oh, cool. Anna, who? Oh, this is. Here we are, season finale. I am having a one-way conversation with my producer. I didn't realize nobody.
Yeah, I don't. How much have you had to drink? Is my big question.
I had like 4 sips of a Down East and a Frosty mug.
Yeah. Okay.
Great invention. Frosty mug. All right. Anyways, these folks made a. The cart before the horse. That one. Right. It's beautiful little play on words. Horse running around. Check it out. Everybody should click on the link, support each other's games. All right, next one. We've got Yali. Did this cool little outlined silhouette wall jumping action. The feel looks good there. I'm loving those particle effects.
Yeah, I like this one.
They were proud of their level design, probably rightfully so. You should all check that out. And another game making one. We have another group of regulars. Hey, Ryan Casey. I haven't heard from Ryan Casey in a while. And this isn't tennis practice.
I mean, it looks like tennis practice, though. So is this
it could be a recording of last time I was out on the tennis field. That's exactly how I tennised last time. So good job, guys, catching reality. All right, that is all of the Game Jam stuff.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Like, this was obviously not in dev log, but didn't you announce a new game just now?
Oh, by me you mean it's live announced. So yeah, Google finally announced that Harmonix is working on a Stadia game, and so I wink was able to say that that is what I've been working on, a Stadia exclusive with Harmonix. So,
yeah. He can't talk about it yet, or he'd have to kill everybody who is in the chat, everybody in the stream, and everybody who would potentially watch the YouTube video. So we'll hear more about that later. Yeah. And then we have Yali. Hands up in the audience if you've done this. So Yali created this wonderful animated text script in Godot, and not to get too specific, but and wouldn't you know it, this functionality already exists. So lesson is read the fucking manual.
Damn.
Yeah. I can't announce the next one. I didn't this is fun. I mean, I guess I can announce it. I was on vacation last week and I decided, wouldn't it be fun to do Space Harrier, and hands up if you all were around during Space Harrier. I don't see Elliot Mitchell in the audience today. I do see Trevor. Those two are the old folks. And I just, I thought it would be kind of neat to do that kind of thing.
I was really happy to see you do this because you've been talking about Space Harrier.
I have.
Your desire to remake it in some form for as long as I've known you. So it's
really?
nice that you're finally making progress on your dreams.
Oh, no. I just spent a week doing it so that I would get out of my system. But
yeah, but clearly it's been the most important thing in your life for 10 years or whatever.
It has.
So I don't know what all this other noise you've been doing, making other games and having a baby and stuff. You're finally getting ahead on your
That's just bullshit. I mean, it's like the rest is just noise. And then I guess also Chris was kind enough to put in, if y'all know Slapwork, Chris Foster and I did the design for something called Lightboxer. And this is an actual physical hardware thing. Think Dance Dance Revolution, except with boxing. And we spent a bunch of time working, this is a consulting gig. We were called in, I was called in, and then I called Chris in, and we said, how an interesting gaming experience. And some of you may have seen this at PAX East last year. Favorite story is that, of course, since it was alpha hardware at the time, a bunch of people on the floor were punching it, as they should be, and the poor engineering team had to spend all night soldering it back together. 4 days of soldering. And, well, I think it was a hit nonetheless, no intended.
Oh, you intended that.
No. And then finally, Dana Loud. Let's take a look at the side project, Snow Environment, WIP. I really liked this. I thought it looked really nice.
Yeah.
I don't know anything more about it. Have you played it?
No, for me, this came out of left field. I mean, that's not hard because I'm not always looking at the field, but I really liked. There's a lot of feel going on here that seemed very promising.
Yeah.
Bendy Tower.
Yeah, Dana is over at Proletariat. I scooped that one up from Chris, who whispered it to us in the side, and we have little things here.
Now that I know we have this power, I'm looking forward in season 2 to getting all sorts of hot tips from Chris.
Yeah.
Taking them as if they're my own to make me seem way more knowledgeable here on the show.
No, I think, do you all know that Ziba basically spends an hour each week talking to the guest before the show so that he can do the pre-show notes and do everything? And Chris is spending a bunch of time doing this. And all I do is I come on and I start shooting the shit and like, pew, 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 pew. So kudos to Ziba for doing that.
Somebody has to shoot the shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's not going to shoot itself.
Do we have a guest today?
Do we have a guest today?
I don't know. Do you have a guest today?
Oh, shit.
I guess the answer is yes. I was going to say no. Well, then, since that's the case, let me give this completely extemporaneous introduction for our guest. Today's guest is a young games designer and producer with a voracious appetite for all things game dev and a talent to tackle them. Design, production, 3D art, code, audio, QA, booths, directing actors, public speaking, president of a game dev club, and captain of making everyone else look lazy. Please welcome Kate Olguin.
Wow, what an intro. Thank you so much, Ziba.
Did you know that Kate and I are both alum from WPI, but I think the difference in years is old enough to drink. So like I'm not just from last decade, not from last century, but last millennium.
Wow, I am impressed.
How's everything changed since 22 years ago, Kate?
Honestly, considering I wasn't alive 22 years ago, can't quite say.
Okay.
I would imagine the program is bigger. Actually, wait, the game dev program didn't even exist when you were there.
Computers didn't exist when I went, so no.
That's fair. There are computers now. Have you heard of them? You press buttons and sometimes lights happen. That's definitely the biggest difference. I really enjoy WPI. Not everyone likes the school they go to. I had a lot of fun. Although while I did have a lot of fun, definitely glad to be out in the real world. Excited to be freshly released into the wild.
Because as you told me, you have this desire to make every single game ever.
What does that mean? That's really interesting.
So, okay, pretty much when I discovered that games were a thing you could make, I got really excited, maybe a little bit too excited, maybe a bit too much. And so I decided, well, why don't I just learn every single thing I possibly can about making a game? So I knew a little bit when I was first going into college. I knew a touch about Java, and I knew a little tiny bit of Photoshop, and absolutely nothing about making a game. I'd played games. Who hasn't in this day and age? But I just kind of went off, and so I started trying to learn as much as I could. I learned Photoshop, I learned Maya, I did all these things. But one of my best stories about that was when I was a freshman at a 24-hour game jam. I cornered an upperclassman, and who's very kind. Shout out to Vince, and I was like, Vince, please teach me how to use Unity. I need to know. I must know, because I only knew Game Maker back then because I hadn't learned. And so I got him to teach me how to use Unity in 24 hours, and I cobbled together this game about an egg rolling through a forest.
Right. So your powers have been quickly growing, and you're gobbling up everything that you can do. As you are becoming less limited by your abilities to do things, what is it you find yourself making with all these skills you pull together?
I've been making The Call of Karen, a game about a 1950s suburban housewife whose home is being invaded by Cthulhu. It's on Steam right now for free. It's for PC, Windows. Sorry, we're working on Mac, but yikes. So that's the main thing that I have been working on. It's been me and 3 others, Michael Maticoli, Tom Tawadros, and Diana Kumikova. Really great team. And it's been about a year and a half we've been working on this, and we are very, very excited to see it come to fruition.
And this is your undergrad thesis?
Yes, this is, for those of you that aren't familiar with WPI, we do this thing called an MQP, which is basically a project that you do, and it's kind of your capstone. So this is what we've been working on for our MQP, but obviously class is over now. So we wanted to continue it. We wanted to finish it. And we also started it before we were supposed to. We started it about half a year before it actually turned into our thesis.
Your
and it's only half
enthusiasm is terrifying. Your whole team's enthusiasm is terrifying, getting in all this. So you've Call of Karen has a specific feel. It's got influences. Is this something that resonated with your team, all of you together? You just all got in this, like, we need to go down this weird route?
That's such a great question, because at first we all got together, but we didn't know what kind of game we wanted to make. We had a bunch of ideas. We threw a lot at the wall, but what we initially came up with was just a suburban housewife and demons in the house, because we thought it was this really funny juxtaposition. And I've always leaned a lot more towards comedy and comedic games. So we thought it was this really funny juxtaposition we could play with. And then we eventually transitioned towards the 1950s and towards Cthulhu, because Cthulhu is pretty recognizable as this big eldritch demon horror thing. So we thought it would be fun to play with that sort of recognizable character. And also this kind of gets a little bit into what Cthulhu means, but we picked the 1950s because also recognizable, but we wanted to do a deconstruction on how the 1950s kind of sucked. A lot of people are really nostalgic for the 50s. A lot of media really puts the 50s in this golden age kind of light. But especially if you were a woman and if you were a housewife, that was not a good time for you. And yeah, we want to explore that.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Donna Reed. I don't know how alone I am in that, but I watched a lot of Donna Reed growing up about the 50s. A not at all tongue-in-cheek show about a housewife. Well, I was playing your game earlier today. One of the things, moment that really struck me in it, and I just wanted to see if this was intentional or not. So the game has it's this mix of the sane and the insane, the hyper normal things you do of preparing meals, and the supernatural and terrifying things. But the moment that really struck me is early on, I have to cut a meatloaf. And I couldn't figure out how to get the knife close enough to the meatloaf to cut it. And so, but I was in this role of a housewife and trying to live a normal life. But the only way I found I could do it was to jump up on the table and crouch and stab it with my knife. And of all the visuals, everything, that felt like the most insane thing, because it's all first person. You can't see what's going on. But that's when I really felt like a crazy person living a great, crazy life and wanted to be there, crouched over a meatloaf, stabbing it. Did I do it wrong, or is that what you have to do?
No, that's exactly what you have to do. We really were chasing that juxtaposition of this normal life that you're supposed to be maintaining and the absolute lunacy of what's actually happening.
I love that.
We have a couple of questions apropos that. Like Trevor's asking if he's been cutting meatloaf weird his whole life. And then John is asking, well, like how could you, like, so you're graduated now, but how hard was it to keep up with your other classes while you were doing your thesis project?
As for cutting meatloaf, probably. Who really knows the correct way to cut meatloaf?
I
To be
mean, you
fair.
do apparently. You've like the de facto way.
That's fair. And how hard was it to keep up with other classes? It was definitely I have definitely in the past struggled to maintain a work-life balance with my voracious appetite for game development and my desire to eat and sleep and have friends. But I was really fortunate in that the team was really great team, and we had really good communication about deadlines and schedules and how much we could accomplish in a week. And through a lot of aggressive planning and aggressive scope, considerations, it was definitely a lot, like more work that I would say I put in. Most people would assume when they think school project, but I would definitely say that it was manageable so long as we made sure that we planned correctly.
And then also, like, I think youthful enthusiasm and having the energy that we all miss having. I don't know about you, Ziba.
What? Huh? Yeah, I'm here. Energy.
Fair enough. Which way am I looking to talk to Ziba? There.
No, yeah. It is. It's infectious to watch how much you are doing and taking in. And so I'm gonna go to the last question here. So it makes me sad too. But where can people follow you to follow you along on your adventures here you're having, and perhaps maybe even get involved with maybe they need your help on something.
Yeehaw. Thank you for giving me a platform to do a shameless plug. So my Twitter, which is where I do the most tweets about and updates on my game development.
Do you do tweets on other platforms?
It's hard, but you can't know.
I believe you would be able to do that. Sorry, pray continue.
No, it's all good. My Twitter is Dragon Dirigible. Dirigible like the little, like a blimp. My Twitter's Dragon Dirigible. That's most of my stuff, but also my website where you can find some of my other games that I have worked on that I also love very much.
A nice website.
Oh, thank you so much. I work hard on it. It's kateolguin.com, and I will spell it for you because my name is weird. It's KateOlguin. kateolguin.com, no spaces. That's and Dragon Dirigible on Twitter. That's the main places that you can find my things.
And that's going to answer Dan's next question. What is the next thing? I also want to put wow, I'm also tired. It's not just Ziba. I want to put in like a what's a positive thing you say about someone else? Plug for Kate is that Kate helped us play test. Was it 2 or 3 of our titles?
I think it was 3.
Okay, it's not just I who am not remembering anything.
It was 3. It was 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great job. So if you need somebody to test every freaking thing that you need tested, Kate.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Now, thanks for having me on, guys. I didn't say that earlier, but I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
It was our pleasure. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll see you in the Slack.
Yeah. So yes. Are we gonna talk? So folks, remember that there is the chat afterwards where you can quiz Kate about what's next if she's going to be around. But what are we going to be doing when we come back?
So yeah, let's tease season 2, and we want to open season 2 with a big opener. And a lot of this show is really focused around trying to replicate some of that good face-to-face meeting, those moments that we have with each other that are informal and help us become a community where we learn a bit about each other and become more comfortable sharing information and working together.
To love each other.
Yeah.
Have a few drinks of tea. Make a couple of games.
Yeah, and so one of the real things in our tool set as game developers that is community focused, of course, is jams, right? But I think we can do something a bit more specific than just throw in a jam, like a weekend jam or a day jam, because our goal isn't really to make games. Our goal here is to get friendlier with each other, to become more comfortable with each other and a better community.
Yeah.
And so thinking back on that, There's a
think
jam.
back a decade on that.
6 years, I
Yeah.
think.
Wait, no.
More?
That's
Chris in my ear telling me it's been 7 years.
7 years. That's like Kate has gone through an entire program, an undergrad program in that time. She's like, that 7-year-old kid you were talking about to bring on the show for the 90s effect. That child was born when we did this.
Yeah. So 7 years ago, the Indie Game Collective fathered a child. No, that was so. What we did at that point?
We're gonna roll a clip. Are we gonna talk about it during the rolling? Because I think it's Chris wants it. Chris is like, no, you cannot talk about the clip.
All right. So all I'm trying to set up is that I want to do an unconventional jam when we come back in season 2, a jam that's very low effort for everybody and is more focused on community than it is on making a game or even learning new skills. And as a model for that, we want to show you what the Indie Collective did 7 years ago.
Yep, Trevor called it.
More about being together for a brief period of time than about making a game, and it was a lot of fun.
Let's do it. Roll the clip. We'll see you guys folks in a year and a half.
Should we strike a pose and then resume that pose in season 2 as if we've been frozen the whole time?
One of these.
Like we're in the Phantom Zone?
What I have in my hand here are roles for everybody. We're going to randomly assign. So we're going to, everybody's going to take a role, and then we're going to run to lunch.
What do you say to critics who claim that this project is, quote, doomed before it even began?
Yeah, I remember writing that.
You were originally lead Hexor.
Oh, lead Hexor. Yeah, it turns out I don't know how to program anything.
I'm the environmental doodler, so it's my job to make an overpass. I'm very excited. I'm looking for inspiration now.
You can't go to school to become an artist. It's something you are or you are not.
So I think you should do cars because we got Trevor doing the aliens, we've got Elliot doing the sides. We're gonna need cars as something to avoid.
Okay. Good thing I don't know how to draw cars. Are we approaching the game from top down or
side?
Side.
That's my understanding. Which we asked Dave that. But
yeah, the visionary.
I think he's at Asatuna. I think the idea is that the aliens will be jumping towards each other, and they need to touch in order to get married. And so, but you avoid the cars, so, and depending on how long you hold the button, they jump at different heights.
You know, I don't actually have any tools to make music, so I think I'm going to figure that one out first.
What do you think will be the biggest challenge for the tiebreaker character?
Finding a tie to break.
Mr. Evans, could you tell us about your grand design?
It's a little too tough to describe simply. I think we have to wait to see what vision comes out of the team, how they take my ideas and create it.
Tell us about the project.
Xeno Overpass.
It's
Xenoverpass. It's coming together. It's kind of been my dream project all my life. I didn't know I wanted to make this.
Yeah, I never realized what 3 note cards with random words could do, but it's really honed my focus today. This is a story about alien love, hover cars, and Boston skyline.
Well, I had absolutely no software to be able to do that, so what I did was I found this free online tool that looks like a Game Boy, and I just clicked a lot, and something came out of it. So.
Yes. So, alien love is something that I think all of us can agree the game industry does not spend enough time with. And so this is an alien based around the Rolling Stones and all the forms of love that they can represent. One of the other alien life forms, it's really an homage to the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
The team seems to be doing well, as you can tell. Art's, on the ball. They're getting their stuff done. Music's getting their stuff done. We have miscellaneous extra people who are getting their stuff done because that's what we need them to do. Is just fill in the gaps. And if we walk over here,
Where are we now?
we are at Intrepid Labs, and we are now entering the Indie Game Collective. As you can see, the logo design is totally getting it done.
Yeah.
But actually, she's so ahead of the moment.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the logo.
I was done 20 minutes ago.
Stealing images off the web because some asshat's making me do it.
Is
Social
just
media.
social mediaing it up.
Do you know Overpass is better than breakfast? Who isn't following us? Justin Bieber.
We're gonna be on Jimmy Fallon tonight.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Colbert
Hey guys,
Report.
I'm doing the audio, sound effects. It's pretty much gonna be like Bastion. So I mean, I took inspiration from a lot of classical music.
It's coming along. I actually have.
It actually looks quite amazing. I don't know if we should be showing this to
What do you got?
There's a bug right now where both players are jumping, but the key they do jump, and when they hit the wall, they switch directions.
We're live with Press Kit.
We're live with Press Kids, Overpass. And our lovely images. There's also quotes from Abraham Lincoln and Carl Sagan.
Why?
Not one competent team member this entire project. Least of all the documentarian. This is just a mess. It's just a mess.
It turns out that we're having IP issues. Could you describe them?
Well, our artist may have used something from Rocky Horror and Rolling Stones, so we're expecting our first lawsuit shortly after we publish this game.
Fucking awesome PR.
Honk 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 honk. Hop. 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 Honk 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 honk. Honk honk.
Designer
John.
David Evans.
Chicken or fish?
Fish.
And the aliens lived happily ever after.
All right, that's going to do it for Bitch Show Season 1. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bitch Show!